What's up, cool people? I'm Matt Conroy, getting back into the Bible today with Genesis chapter 12. So, when last we left our heroes, or whatever, so we had gone through kind of a genealogy, well, we had the whole Tower of Babel thing, genealogy specifically of Shem's descendants, because he was the ancestor of the next important figure we're about to focus on, which is Abram, who he and his wife left with his father Terah, and they were headed towards Canaan, but settled in Haran along the way. And it's presumed, I guess, that that's where Terah died. So, now we're at chapter 12, verse 1. The Lord had said to Abram, "Leave your native country, your relatives, and your father's family, and go to the land that I will show you. I will make you into a great nation. I will bless you and make you famous, and you will be a blessing to others. I will bless those who bless you, and curse those who treat you with contempt. All the families on earth will be blessed through you." Okay, so there are moments like this where I find the wording a bit odd, especially the tense that is used, because it's just like out of nowhere. The Lord had said to Abram, but I guess in the next few verses, it's about to get into why it was worded like that. But anyway, so we start getting into another kind of promise covenant thing between God and Abram now. Kind of like, we had with Noah and with Adam, in a sense. So, yeah, anyway, that as I kind of said before, Abram's our next kind of key person that the Bible will be focused on. Anyway, verse 4. So Abram departed as the Lord had instructed, and Lot went with him. Abram was 75 years old when he left Haran. He took his wife Sarai, his nephew Lot, and all his wealth, his livestock, and all the people he had taken into his household at Haran, and headed for the land of Canaan. When they arrived in Canaan, Abram traveled through the land as far as Shechem. There he set up camp beside the oak of Moreh. At that time, the area was inhabited by Canaanites. So, once again, we have someone kind of doing as God instructs. In this case, it's Abram leaving his home and going to a different land. And wouldn't you know it, the land is called Canaan. Sound familiar? It should, because that was Ham's son, who was given a curse, I guess, for lack of a better way to put it. Noah wished a curse upon Canaan because of the whole issue with Ham seeing him naked. So I would assume then that it's the descendants of Canaan, the person who are settled in the land of Canaan and occupy it at the time. And so this is the group of people that Abram has moved himself towards. Anyway, verse 7. Then the Lord appeared to Abram and said, "I will give this land to your descendants. And Abram built an altar there and dedicated it to the Lord, who had appeared to him. After that, Abram traveled south and set up camp in the hill country, with Bethel to the west and Ai to the east. There he built another altar and dedicated it to the Lord, and he worshipped the Lord. Then Abram continued traveling south by stages toward the Negev. So far, lots of traveling for Abram. So he went with his father, Terah, from Ur of the Chaldeans to Haran, then went from Haran to Canaan, and from there he went south to the hill country, which it doesn't give a particular name for, but it mentions kind of the boundaries of it to the east and west. And also, just for clarity's sake, it mentions him building an altar twice. Once after God promises him that he will inhabit the land of Canaan, or that his descendants will inhabit the land of Canaan, and that will be theirs. And then he also, once he travels south to the hill country, sets up another altar and dedicates it to the Lord there. But then he continues to travel even further south. If I'm understanding that correctly, yeah. All right, so now we get to verse 10. At that time, a severe famine struck the land of Canaan, forcing Abram to go down to Egypt, where he lived as a foreigner. As he was approaching the border of Egypt, Abram said to his wife Sarai, "Look, you are a very beautiful woman. When the Egyptians see you, they will say, 'This is his wife. Let's kill him, then we can have her.' So please tell them you are my sister. Then they will spare my life and treat me well because of their interest in you." So, not exactly the most honest, so Sarai is not his sister, or at least not fully his sister. I thought I remembered hearing and seeing somewhere that she might have been like his half-sister, so like he isn't completely lying there, but also they were married. So, still, not exactly being super honest here, but he's concerned. He's concerned for his life. He's worried that the Egyptians are going to kill him because they will want his wife for their own. But in order to have her, I guess they would want/need to kill him first. So then there's no, marital tie to Sarai. Anyway, verse 14. And sure enough, when Abram arrived in Egypt, everyone noticed Sarai's beauty. When the palace officials saw her, they sang her praises to Pharaoh, their king, and Sarai was taken into his palace. Then Pharaoh gave Abram many gifts because of her: sheep, goats, cattle, male and female donkeys, male and female servants, and camels. So, it doesn't really explain the reasoning for this. I wonder if there was, some sort of assumption, given that Abram told Sarai to just say that she was his sister, if it was assumed that he was like, kind of the next of kin, and so any gifts, any bartering, whatever you'd call it, any anything needed to be given as part of, a marital offer, I suppose then would have been given to him just for that reason, and that's how he got all this stuff from Pharaoh, because otherwise I don't know how much sense that makes. But he was right about the other people taking notice of her. So anyway, then we get to verse 17. But the Lord sent terrible plagues upon Pharaoh and his household because of Sarai, Abram's wife. So Pharaoh summoned Abram and accused him sharply. "What have you done to me?" he demanded. "Why didn't you tell me she was your wife? Why did you say she is my sister and allow me to take her as my wife? Now then, here is your wife. Take her and get out of here." Pharaoh ordered some of his men to escort them, and he sent Abram out of the country along with his wife and all his possessions. So, it's, again, the actions here, they don't exactly make a ton of sense to me, and I'm sure there are other people it doesn't really make a lot of sense. I'm sure there are ways that Pharaoh could have found out about Sarai being Abram's wife, aside from just all the misfortune and plagues and whatnot. That might have been kind of clue, and then he probably started asking some, diviners or, oracles or whatever. Other kind of advisors of his, I guess you could say, Pharaoh did, asking, what the reason for it would have been, and then perhaps that was revealed. But okay, I can understand, kicking them out instead of then just killing Abram, because it's like, well, if doing this disservice to Abram, as in just, taking his wife, if that alone brought all this misfortune upon us, then how much worse would it be if we killed Abram? So, I guess for that reason, that's why he and Sarai and all of them got exiled instead of just straight up killed or whatever. But yeah, so then it doesn't really say for sure, but so does Abram then leave with, his possessions that had been gifted to him by Pharaoh earlier, or did Pharaoh keep those? I don't know, probably not a big deal, but still, Abram is already noted to have many possessions, and so getting them all out of there, I'm sure, was a bit complicated. But anyway, that's actually it for chapter 12, so I guess there isn't really a whole lot more I have to say. That's nowhere near the end of things with Abram. In fact, I think Abram ends up having the most chapters dedicated to him of any one individual as of yet. But we'll get there. So yeah, Abram, I guess, generally a good person, because why else would, God want to make a promise with him and his descendants to inhabit the land of Canaan? But, no one's without their flaws. Noah was generally deemed righteous, but he got drunk. So, yeah, anyway. That's another thing that you'll find is super duper common within the Bible. People who are generally deemed righteous, even in God's eyes, but they mess up, or they do things that, don't make sense, are generally wrong, or kind of seem to go against what God wants, even if just for a time. So anyway, suppose that'll do it for now. As always, like the video and share it with others if you enjoyed it and want them to see. Subscribe to my channel and click the notification bell to get updates when I post new videos. Look down in the description for more information on other social media pages and how to find and follow those. And leave thoughts, comments down below with whatever you have for me. Especially if you have anything else to say about this chapter. I know it went kind of short, although the chapter itself was a bit on the short side of things. Or so it seemed. So yeah, if you want to add to the discussion any thoughts or questions or whatever, down below is the place to go. So anyway, that's it for now. Hope you're all doing well. Hopefully I will see you in the next video. But until then, stay cool, people.